food, it seems, is always touching plastic. Food gets processed on plastic equipment and packaged in plastic-lined boxes and cans. Recent health controversies have spawned new discussions about the safety of plastic in the food industry.
Every year, 50 billion water bottles are consumed in the United States alone. Not only do these water bottles end up sitting in our landfills and by doing so damage our environment, but they damage our health as well.
Over 1.5 million barrels of oil were used to make plastic bottles consumed in the US last year. That doesn't include the petroleum used to transport them. To put that into perspective, that's enough petroleum to power 100,000 automobiles for an entire year.
When you think about the finished product of a plastic bottle, you don't think about the process. Most of the public does not know that the plastic that they drink from is being made from these petrochemical plants.
People think that when they're drinking bottled water, that they're getting a healthy product. They're not conditioned to think, well, maybe there's something in the plastic. Bottled water has often been described as one of the greatest cons of the 20th century. The bottled water industry has become an enormous multi-billion-dollar a year industry. But what exactly are the effects that bottled water has on our health?
I rarely drink bottled water. Maybe less than 5 times a year.
It's long been known that infinitesimal bits of plastic get into our food from plastic containers. This process is called migration or leaching. The chemical industry acknowledges that you can avoid this transfer because virtually all food packaging materials contain substances that can migrate into the food they contact.
Plastic is a lot less stable than, for example, something like metal. And it can leach out its chemicals, especially when it's exposed to light or to heat. And of course, water being an almost universal solvent, it's a nice place for these chemicals to leach into.
BPA, otherwise known as bisphenol A, is a high-production industrial chemical used to manufacture polycarbonate plastics and epoxy lining of tin cans. BPA is an endocrine disruptor which binds to hormone receptors.
Anytime we talk about supplements or any kind of chemicals, what we can say is that there seems to be a correlation. So the more people were exposed to bottled water, it happens to be that they have a higher risk of certain cancers, breast cancer being one of them.
Surprisingly, BPA is not the only dangerous chemical found in bottled water. Phthalates are chemicals used to make certain plastics flexible. Since the late 1990s, it has been known that certain phthalates specifically affect the development of the male reproductive system. With billions of pounds produced annually, phthalates are everywhere, but even in the indoor dust we breathe. Like BPA, phthalates disrupt hormones, in this case, testosterone.
And you'll notice here in Dawson we have some filtering systems that I hope everybody's going to use. It's probably the purest water you can get.
Because stainless steel is safe, the inside of the bottle doesn't need to be coated with a plastic or epoxy lining, which is one of the main differences between a stainless steel and aluminum bottle. Food-grade stainless steel is used in the brewing, food, and winemaking industries too.
Water is a resource, a natural resource that shouldn't be sold.